Hi. Hey, so Rico and I, say hi. Hi, Rico. Are coming at you today from my back deck of my house in Midway. And Rico's not going to say bye. And the lesson today is something that is so deeply personal to me and meaningful. And I have a wonderful object lesson. So hold on, I'm going to get it. Oh my gosh, it's so heavy. I can hardly lift it. All right, do you know what this is? Can you really see it? Let me try to get it up to you like this. Okay, can you see it? This is a yoke. It belonged to my granddad, who would have been my mom's dad. And he farmed round about Moorhead, Kentucky. Had cattle. I guess he put it over his cattle. I can try to put this on my neck. It's hard to do. I'm here all by myself today, except for Rico. And you know, it would go like over like this sort of. Oh my gosh, it is so heavy. I'm gonna say that this thing weighs about, I don't know, I'm gonna say 15 pounds maybe. Anyway, it would be heavy. And my Uncle Junior, my mom's brother, ended up with this particular yoke that would have been his father's at his house. And my Uncle Junior passed away about 4 years ago. And so my Aunt Joy is moving, and she's passing on a lot of the things that Uncle Junior had. And she asked about if we wanted anything, and I said yes, I would love to have that yoke that's on the wall. Now that is such a weird thing to ask for, but it has such symbolic meaning to me. If you remember, the word yoke is actually used in Matthew chapter 11, and Jesus is talking, and he says, I'm going to read right now so I get this right. This is in the NASB version. Take my yoke upon you and learn of me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. Okay, so when I think about putting this thing around my neck, the last thing I'm thinking of is something that's easy or something that's light, because it's just the opposite of that. Another word, the yoke was used for draft cattle. So they would put it on their necks, and it also kept them balanced. You could see that if I had another person here, then we could put this on our shoulders, kind of on our backs, and it would at least be balanced. So sometimes I think, for me personally, I've done two things that are kind of big no-nos, and in relation to what I've been yoked to. Number one, I've tried to do it all by myself. So I'm talking about life. So I'm definitely out of balance. Number two, I have yoked myself to other burdens or other areas of bondage that make the yoke extremely heavy and extremely difficult to maneuver. For some of us, we may yoke ourselves to addictions, to the desire to be perfect, performance-related types of desires that we may have. We may yoke ourselves to toxic thinking. Now that has been a big one to me, and if you read my blog, you'll know that I deal a lot with toxic thinking, and I really promote Dr. Caroline Leaf, Dr. David Levy. Those are neuroscientists, neurosurgeons. They do a lot of study on the impact that thoughts have on literally in our brain, and that what those thoughts do to our emotions, and then of course our behavior. So I've yoked myself quite a bit to toxic thinking. And then of course it could be legalism. So the good news is that we don't have to do that, and that we can instead yoke ourselves or become balanced when we're wearing that yoke that Jesus offers us. And some suggest that those are his laws and his ways, his thinking, because we've been given the mind of Christ. If you're a Christian, you have the mind of Christ. You have clear thinking that you can employ. And that to me is such good news. And I want to make a mental effort every day to yoke myself not to the things of this world, but instead to yoke myself to Christ, to his ways, and to you know, it also is directional, right? Because if he moves one way, because I'm walking right there beside him, I'm going to naturally move in that direction with him. And I want to be dragged or drawn in the direction that he's going. Matter of fact, that's the interesting connection to draft cattle and the yoke that went over draft cattle. It's like a draft that we can take of a beverage. And, you know, we start that process and it has to go down a particular channel. So when we are yoked to Christ, all right, when we pull this yoke and we put it on us, it's not heavy, it's not hard. And that's the kind of yoke that I want to have every day. So I leave you with that thought. First, maybe a question. To whom or to what are you yoked? Because nothing worldly is going to help you carry this. In other words, it really indeed will make it much more difficult for you. So think about, as you do your daily life, what am I under? What am I trying to do so hard? What am I doing on my own, which keeps me out of balance? And what am I doing that's taking me or pulling me or drafting me in a direction that I don't want to go? And if you can find some of those items, then it's never too late to say, I'm not going to put that yoke on anymore, but instead I'm going to put on the yoke of Christ, because Jesus says, take it. So we do have some obligation. It's not that he's going to just put it on us and make us do that. He's too gentle. He's too kind. He's too loving to do that. But instead he says, take it. And so he's offering that to us. We can take it. We can put it on ourselves. We can wear that yoke, and it's easy and light. And then we can go in the direction that he goes. Even you think of the race cars, they do something called drafting, right? Or you can do this on a semi. If you're on the interstate, you get behind the semi and there's this little pocket where it's easy to go, and you're like pulled into that direction. Same thing here. When you're drafted alongside Christ, walking out your life, yoked with him, there's safety, there's security, there's ease. You're a follower then. You don't have to pave the way and get the machete out and get through the wilderness all on your own. You do that with him, side by side. It's gentle and it's easy and it's light. And that's what I want for myself. It's what I try to practice, and that's what I want for you. So please visit my blog. I'd love to have you over there. I'm excited about things that are going on with the ministry, about starting a grateful heart. Adios. Ciao.